Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you tuned in a little bit earlier, you saw that I did the skills overview of the exploration skills. I was in the process of actually calling it a night, but I saw that the servers were up, which I didn't think they were going to be up for the weekday, but luckily the servers are up, so I'm going to go ahead and include this bonus video for tonight and do a quick look at the Confessor. I just kind of chose her at random here. So we have a Confessor here we're going to take a look at first. The last one I did was a Legionnaire, and we went through, in theory, crafted the skills. I don't know if people actually like that first. I think a lot of people kind of tapered out after kind of getting overwhelmed with the skill tree. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it in reverse order. We're going to take a look at the Confessor, give you guys a little bit more visual reference as to how the Confessor kind of moves and casts and the abilities that she has. And then once we've, played or moved around and tested her abilities, we're going to go into the skill tree and Theorycraft just for a tiny bit. I'd like to keep it relatively short segment of this video dedicated to Theorycrafting with the Confessor, considering by now hopefully you've seen some of the videos, you're a little bit more familiar with the various portions of the skill tree. If not, go ahead and check out some of my videos but pertaining to that skill tree. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into the Confessor here. Let's take a look at how she looks and what her role is. So the Confessor is a range fire-based DPS type of character. She's got really good mobility, but she lacks in hit points pool. So she's your type of typical range DPS character with low hit point pool, so not as sustainable and not as durable as some of the other tankier classes. But your main role will be dishing out the damage, and hopefully your teammates can kind of keep you alive enough to deal enough damage. But I've learned from first-hand experience that Confessors, they're just brutal. They have knockdowns, they have high burst DPS, and you're just next thing you know, if they manage to get a hold of you or manage to cast or unload their spells on you, you're pretty much done for. So as of right now, Confessor is actually one of the more broken classes in Crowfall in the pre-alpha, just because of her skill tree and her nodes, specifically for the skill tree. And we'll take a look at that real quick. So first of all, we're going to start by naming her. I'm gonna be cheeky and just name her Usher Confessions. Throwback R&B reference to you guys who are old enough to listen to that album. Let's confirm, and they'll push us in here. Boom, here's our Confessor. Okay, let's grab our oh, yes please, yes please. We have our gear, yes please, yes please, and yes. And then we're going to need to craft her basic weapon, which is her book. We need wood, so 6 of each. Should I be a lazy bastard and just pick up wood from here? No, let's not be lazy. I am gonna pick up from here, but I am gonna go gather wood. So I know that right is usually your mobility spell, so we're gonna go ahead and access her mobility spell. And she's got this dash, which is just a movement, and it's a really far dash. It's on par with the druid, so she's actually one of the most mobile. She's up there. She's very, very mobile for this class, and if they keep it this way, like, there's gonna be a ton of people playing Confessor just because she's so mobile, and you can escape as long as you're not snared or stunned. It's a little bit easier to kite. So I'm gonna go ahead and log some trees real quick. Once we get 12 logs here, we can go ahead and make her Book of Sin. And then once we have our weapons and everything, by that time we do get her weapons will actually have all of our armor and stuff kind of out of storage, out of the spirit bank. So for those of you who are new and haven't tuned into my previous videos, I kind of explained, any items you take out of your spirit bank, out of your bank, it has a cooldown on it before you can actually use it, of a couple minutes on about. You know, that may change on launch, but that's currently what it is. Oh, come on, bro. Really? Getting 1 or 2 pieces of logs here? Come on. Not enough stamina. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so we have our armor here. We're gonna equip. Look at that chest plate. How badass is that? Let's get her crown. Yep. And her armor. So this basic armor set has changed. Wow, doesn't she look awesome? I love that they updated her textures. I'm loving that. I'm loving that a lot. Yeah, she just looks badass. Very, very cool. So we are going to, her resource is mana, if you can see at the bottom. Now that we have stamina, let's go ahead and log some more. Thank you. How many things of wood do we have? We need 12. There we go. I've kind of consolidated a little bit. Let's harvest these trees and then I'll make the book. Promise. Let's use up the stamina. So her main weapon is going to be a Book of Sin, it calls it. And the reason we need to go ahead and craft that is because that will allow us to cast our abilities. Without a weapon, we won't be able to cast some of our abilities. And we'll take a look at our abilities right when we get the Book of Sin. And that'll be typically the case for all of these classes, right? So you might see me harvest a little bit just to kind of give you guys a sense of their motion too. Their mobility gives me a good chance to explain their mobility spells for you guys. If we just simply harvest here, and you gotta be kind of wary so people don't jack your stuff. Give me a couple more. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Nice. Okay, we got 26. That's good. So we need wood and wood. Some of this Book of Sin, please. Sinners. Oh, new texture for the book as well. Wow. Let's go ahead and make that item. Don't fail on me, please. 75% success rate, better not fail. Thank you. Let's equip that. Now, see? Now I can cast. That's cool. So, attacking tray. Look at that. You can shoot some fireballs at people. Bow, 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 dash, bow, bow, bow. Wow, her attack animation is just so quick, too. Holy shit. I mean, compared to the druid and the actual legionnaire. Holy cow, I can see why people just play her, just because they can literally just spam her spells and just blow their load. Just Jesus. Let's take a look at the abilities now real quick. Let's go ahead and take a look at one. Fireball. Shoots a fireball towards, you know, pretty much basic DPS projectile. 46% weapon damage. It's fire damage. Applies sin to anybody that's damaged. Now this combos. Fireball 2 shoots another fireball, and in Fireball 3 multi-fireball. Fairly basic. So, you know, when you're casting 1 as your primary spell, you combo it again. That's the second fireball. Force Confession. Oops. So Force Confession is, you know, you're dealing. I'm assuming you're blowing up. You're blowing up somebody's sin stacks to deal damage to them, which is interesting because it doesn't really mention that. Oh, I see. Duh. Okay. I see. I was looking at the wrong one. Flames of Truth is on the tray. That's number 1. So applies a Flame of Truth to your reticle target, damaging them for this amount. After 10 seconds, a Flame Truth explodes, dealing 932 to 1398 plus 117% weapon damage as fire damage in a 4 meter radius. So basically it deals this little ticking time bomb essentially that just does a tiny bit of damage at first, but after 10 seconds they just basically detonate and deal this much damage in a 4 meter radius around them. So you can probably stack this on various people and cause them all to kind of trigger, which is pretty nuts, right? So you can do this. Now you can force them to explode, which is what this Force Confession is. When you throw that stack on them, you can choose to detonate them right away, or you can let them wait. You know what I mean? So if you're chasing somebody and you boom, you know, oh, wrong one. That's cool. So the first one is fireball. So here you're shooting 2 fireballs in a row, and then the final object is shooting 3 of them. Yeah, so that one's firing multiples. So 1, 2, and then multiples. Yep. So we already went over the first tray ability. The second one is going to be Hellfire Shield. Surround your skin with a Hellfire Shield, damaging all who cause damage to you for, you know, just a small basic shield. So this one you can combo into a Fire Wave, consumes your Hellfire Shield and transforms it into a Fiery Wave, which goes forward. Pretty basic, makes sense. Hellfire Aura consumes your Hellfire Shield and surrounds you in a pulsing Hellfire Aura, which damages all players within 4 meters of you every second for a second. So it's like immolation, right? Just sets yourself on fire, deals damage. The Hellfire Aura is what surrounds your skin with a shield for okay, so interesting. You can just have immolation there. And then the final one is damages all players in front of you who are hit by the Hellfire Wave, then knocks them briefly into the air. So interesting. So if you have casted the wave, this deals additional damage and knocks them into the air. Because from here it says you can cast the Hellfire Aura and then cast this to knock them in the air, but I don't think it deals damage if you haven't casted this route. And then the very last one is Fire Tornado. So consume your Hellfire Aura and consumes your Hellfire Aura and launches 2 Hellfire Tornadoes forward. Oh, so if you do the wave, this blasts them with, it shoots out another wave, dealing more damage and knocking them up. Or if you have the aura, it'll actually launch Fire Tornadoes. Right, so let's check it out. This is a very versatile spell. Holy cow! So let's check this out. So, you know, you have 2, 2, and 2. Okay, so that's basically like a detonating the wave, huh? So let's try that again, and then cast another wave. I'm on fire, bitches. Bug. It wouldn't let me cast my second ability, but look, I'm permanently on fire. That's definitely I don't know if that was intended. That's a pretty long time. But check it out. Shield, Fire Wave, and then this is to detonate, to cast additional fire damage that whoever was hit. Now the second one would be the Immolation, which is Hellfire Aura. Oops. Did I get that right? I don't think I did. It says E. E is Hellfire Aura, and then 2 is Fire Tornadoes. Interesting. I wonder why they have 2 separate sets. So there's 3 Fire Tornadoes going forward. That's pretty crazy. So it's 2E2, right? So 2E, and then what is Fire Tornadoes? It's the same thing. Interesting. So E doesn't do anything right now. It was the same, Fire Tornadoes. So 2E, and then 2. I see. Oh, that's so easy. Look at how far that thing goes. That's absurd. No wonder people play this character. It's just completely OP right now. That's ridiculous how far that thing goes. And it's so low risk. So you go like this. Look at that. And then I'm just like, okay, don't run into that. If there's a group of people fighting there, get wrecked. You know what I mean? And then high mobility too. Look at how far she travels. My goodness. Yeah, moving on. That's just ridiculous. Moving on. Third one is Meteor Purge. Creates a meteor which damages all enemies in 5 meters. Plus weapon damage when it explodes. Charges over 60%. Apply Black Mantle to your target's hit, which absorbs all incoming healing until 5,000 points of health are healed, or it expires after 30 seconds. So it basically prevents them from healing. It basically negates 5,000 points of healing if you hit them with this meteor and they're taking damage. That is ridiculous. So let me see that again. This is time charged and it's at the reticle. Oh, so you have to charge it. Charges over 66% apply. Okay, so you do have to charge it over 60%, 66%. Let's try that again. So it's a channel, like channel fireball, basically channel meteor. Anything over 66, so that's 70. Boom, you hit somebody with that, then they can't really heal. I mean, 5,000 points of healing is a shit ton of healing. Straight up. If you hit multiple people with that, that allows you to kind of burst them down, right? Here. Boom. And then you go ahead and you charge up the meteor. Hit them with that shit. That way they can't heal, right? And then they're getting hit by the tornadoes, and meanwhile you're blasting them with this shit. You know, and then you're doing... Bow. Oh, I need to escape. Oh, I need to escape again. Oh, look at that mobility. That's crazy. Okay, next ability we have absolution. So absolve 3 targets of sin for 1451 to 2176 plus 181% weapon fire damage, consuming all stacks and increasing damage per stack to a maximum of 2838 to 4257 plus 355 weapon damage. If 5 stacks are consumed, movement speed is reduced by 50% for 8 seconds. Okay, so you're stacking sin on them. Yeah, so if you hit them, so each hit applies sin. Now here, if you get 5 hits on them and you cast absolution, they get slowed for 50% for 8 seconds. And it deals a shit ton. So this is cast time instant. This is a array target. So let's check this out. Okay, so let's pretend this tree is a target. So I'm going ahead and I'm gonna stack sin. That's 3, 4, 5, and then I go ahead and I cast my absolution, right? I'm sorry, I don't know if I can. So it's instantaneous. It says it's instantaneous, but I didn't, maybe I didn't see the cone, but I'm assuming it's right in front. So you stack your sin and then it's, yeah. Okay. I wonder if that's just randomly chosen. Absolve 3 targets of sin. Target ray. No, it has to be some type of targeted instance. Okay, whatever. We get the point. Condemnation condemns all targets in front of you, dealing, very little. 138 to 207 plus 17% weapon damage multiple times per second. If the targets are under the effect of sin, they take increased damage per stack of sin to a maximum of 184 to 277 plus 23 weapon damage. And this is per second, or hold. Yeah, this is per second. Yep. So they take an increased damage if they've already got sin stacked. Yep. So you got, if they have sin stacked, so if you're attacking them, you know. And then here's the most common occurrence that I've seen is you see like multiple people there. Okay, now you cast 2, cast the aura on yourself. Okay, now you have this aura, and then people come up to you, and then you want to go ahead and blast them. Boom. And you can move, you can turn with this thing. Look at that, it's like a flamethrower, and it deals a shit ton of damage per second. If they have Sin on them too, it deals bonus. Fervor, restore 350 mana over 5 seconds as you channel. While channeling, your physical mitigations are reduced by 15%. So this makes you vulnerable, but you can channel for mana. So pretty cool. You know, if I'm sitting here, I'm blasting people, you know, I casted my spells, I'm sitting here, I'm casting my tornadoes, you know, then I channel my meteor, boom, and I want to get up into the fray, and I'm casting this and blasting them, right, and it's draining my mana, and then I'm going back and I'm casting 2 again, you know. You know, now I'm all out of mana, right? So now I'm just gonna go ahead and channel, gain back my mana. So it fills up about half a bar, close to half a bar, with a 30-second cooldown timer. So this allows you to probably get a couple more spells off, right? So let's cast 5 again. Yeah, this shit's crazy. Like flamethrower, basically. 2. Yeah, this one's one of my favorite. That one doesn't have very far range. I would for sure do tornadoes. That's just crazy. And 5, this flamethrower shit is nuts. And then I'm gonna go ahead and channel. Get my mana back. And I believe that's it. So here you have your ultimate, which is Immolation, blinds up to 8 nearby enemies while rendering you immune to physics impulses and damage effects, removes all movement impairments. So very cool. This one adds a chance to restore mana when you deal damage to others. Also buffs damage by bonus by 5% for 15 seconds whenever you hit reach maximum zealotry. I don't know what that means, but you have to equip your passives, by the way. C here. So I'm assuming you hit zealotry when you actually hit targets, enemy targets. So in PvE I probably won't be able to cast my ultimate, right? That's kind of a good showcase of abilities though. You can see that's high mobility. I can see why people play her, just because she's so easy to play. You know, her range is freaking nuts. Her mobility is nuts. You know, her spell, even if you just are a complete noob, you know, anybody can play this and cast tornadoes and then sit there and then channel a meteor to kind of stop their healing, right? And then you get up in, people get up in your face and you get multiple people and you're gonna sit here and you're just gonna flamethrower them, and then, you know, you need to get the hell out of dodge. You're gonna go ahead and duck out. You're gonna go ahead and recharge your mana, so you have a resource regeneration ability here. Okay, and then I want to get out of the way even more. Now I want to do, you know, even if I want to just do the Hellfire Aura, right? And I just want to deal damage here. And I'm stacking sin, and then boom, I want to absolve them of the sins. Boom, and I deal a ton of damage to them. That's pretty nuts. So you can see why the Confessor is so easy to play. All right, so let's make it back to this. Now what we're going to do, now that we reviewed her skills, just you know, in the sense of keeping this video relatively short, is we're going to take a look at the skills. So before I do that, I'm going to I'm gonna unequip all this stuff, and I'm going to Spirit Bank it. Why do I do that? Because the next time I show you guys a class, I want to make sure that I have all this stuff stored and it doesn't remove or delete my items. So the Spirit Bank will tie in all of your items and allow you to toggle between your archetypes. But your skill tree is account bound, and your Spirit Bank is account bound. It's an account bound bank, basically, not character bound. So let's take a look at the skill tree and what we might theory craft for the Confessor being a range PvP. Oh, I already know. I'm not even doing weapon styles. I'm doing weapon basics, or I'm doing combat principles here. So obviously you need to get 100 points in combat principles. Here you get attack power and armor class. Confessor, basically excels at both. If you want to take one and you want to proceed here and you get higher attack power, and then you just want basically crit hit damage. Oh shit, what? Oh, we got booted out of the server because they're fixing that shit. So they basically closed that server down, which is completely fine. We finished just in time. Good timing, guys. Once we get into here, look, attack power, she loves that. Confessor loves that. Crit hit chance 2%, she loves that. Crit hit damage 5%, loves that. Weapon efficiency bonus, so reduces the resource cost of powers when any weapon is equipped. That's nuts. You reduce the amount of mana you consume. Okay, that's great. Offense all, this increases the duration of any control effects you apply. Control effects being like blind, daze, so her ultimate basically blinds. So this improves that if you want to progress down this way. If you choose to go up here, then you get, weapon damage, min and maximum, and suppress. So basically your suppression effects, which I'm assuming is like the blind and everything, will be increased. Control effects are basically anything that affects positioning, stuns and stuff, right? Yep, stun, knockdowns, yep, blinds, and slow. Okay, gotcha. I see. Here you can increase your stats, maximum health, stamina, and resources. These are nodes for that if you really wanted to go that route. These are resistances for defensive, playing more defensive for combat. But the Confessor is fairly offensive, so we won't do that. If you want to invest in the combat principles, you can. I honestly believe that like crit chance, crit damage, and just weapon proficiency, resource reduction, that I would probably go as far as that. And then I would come here and specifically go into weapon basics, because if you look at this is just so absurd for the Confessor, right? So you have here damage bonus, you have attack power, crit hit damage, crit hit chance. So right away I'd be like this, boom, give me crit hit damage, crit hit chance. Might even go attack power later on, but for that, this is what I'm gonna max. I'm gonna go up here, and this is range weapon, which is your book. So you want to go into the range weapon here, and then you're gonna look at crit hit chance and crit hit damage and decay rate. So I would probably select that, and then obviously you go into arcane weapons now, which will increase damage, your minimum damage, and then this one will increase reduce cooldowns for your arcane, reduce all your spell cooldowns as if they were too long. Holy shit, you'd be spamming like crazy. That's gonna be nuts. I don't know, they'll probably balance that, so have faith that they're gonna balance that. This is more crit hit chance, and then when you get to this mastery, you get weapon damage bonus, minimum and maximum for this. It's just absurd to me. Yeah, so that's how I would roll the Confessor. Let's go back and let's look at the DPS specific, right? Now this is where it gets kind of foobarred. This is where it gets kind of OP. You're looking at this Confessor like, what? The Confessor gets attack power, health regen out of combat, and elemental mitigation. So any other elemental damage against her is mitigated. Makes kind of sense for the lore. Redemption, this is all regen related, so you'll see a lot of this in like the tanks too. So this is stamina regen, mana regen, and hit point regen in and out of combat. This is weapon damage bonus, zealotry. Okay. And this is crit chance, 10% crit chance increase, and crit hit damage increase 30 fucking percent. 30 crit damage percent. That's fucking nuts. A 10% crit chance. That's fucking nuts. Okay. Mastery. Attack power, health regen out of combat, and elemental mitigation on top of that. So, you know, you go through here, you probably want your mana regen, right? Because why the fuck not? Because you don't want to run out of mana and you don't want to have to channel. So, mana regen or stam, your choice. Damage modifier, and then here you have, no, you don't need these projectiles. Wait, or do you? Yeah, you do, because your spells, your fireball is considered a projectile, right? I think it should. So this is speed, projectile velocity, and crit hit chance, and crit hit damage. Yeah, so look, crit hit damage another 10% with velocity, and here you get longevity. This will go farther. Another 10% crit hit damage. So you look at this, if they consider fireballs a projectile, right? 10%, 10%, that's 20%. This is 30%. That's already a 50% crit damage bonus. Wow. Okay, let's continue. Lawful, attack power. This one is increase attack power when any arcane book is equipped. Of course, you're going to do that because you're always going to have an arcane book equipped. Attack power when arcane weapon is equipped. Of course, you're going to do that. Unless they have more weapon types for, you know, like technically, confessors you can carry any weapon in this game. So if I was a confessor and I wanted to really play a confessor that has like a fucking mace or a fucking like two-handed axe, I could, but you know, if you're min-maxing and you want as much damage as possible, you're going to be using, you know, the Book of Sin, just because you get these additional attack power buffs, right, for them. So here, you know, you get crit crit hit chance another 2%, some more hit points. Here you get more max hit points and substance increases the amount of chicken ticker. I think that's supposed to say sustenance, but okay. Typo probably. Damage bonus, humanoids, and max hit points. So you deal more damage to humans if you level that up. So you can kind of see how her skill tree is pretty ridiculous, and that's just the base confessor. Now you have what they're calling disciplines, professions, and you have the doomsayer. You have proficiency as a doomsayer here, which is, you know, increases maximum weapon damage and minimum and maximum weapon damage when any one-handed weapon is equipped. So the book is considered a one-handed weapon. Now you're min-maxing even more, increasing attack damage of the arcane book. Crit hit damage increase. This hasn't been defined specifically by number yet. Crit hit chance increase, again, increasing crit chance and crit. So this is a high crit build. And then here you're mastering and being a doomsayer. They haven't defined that yet. So the armor buffs as well for doomsayer. Let's see what the other ones are. I don't know if they're finished as well, but we're gonna look anyways. So first one was doomsayer. Then you have the inquisitor, right? Same thing. It looks like they haven't defined these yet. But inquisitor, doomsayer, inquisitor, and what's the last one? Sanctifier. So really no point in going over these. The stats are not allocated yet for this, but yeah, crit chance, you know, crit damage, and attack power, you know, base damage increase. Yeah, all of these are kind of laid out the same. They haven't really specified stats, but you get the gist of it. This is a very bursty, high DPS, high mobility, you know, character. Very easy to use. Level of difficulty of play, I would say for this one, not very many. It's kind of like a right-click hero, right? What we call right-click heroes in Dota. So it's pretty much, you know, spam your fireballs, cast your shields, immolation around you, you're bouncing in and out, you're casting your tornado, which lasts forever and goes far as shit. And then you can channel the meteor, which basically stops or absorbs 5,000 points of healing, which is a shit ton. And you can basically stack Sin for passively while you're attacking. And then you have spells that literally just detonate the Sin into an AoE damage. Talk about CC crazy. Burst crit damage crazy. High mobility crazy. So you can kind of see why the Confessor is kind of often regarded as, you know, overpowered in this build, and I think Artcraft kind of knows that, and they're working on balancing that out. So yeah, that's kind of the overview on Confessor. We got pretty good timing for this one. You know, we've cut it down to 35 minutes. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Once again, this is a bonus video. I didn't even intend or plan to do this one tonight, but I noticed the servers were up. We actually caught the servers just in time, right before they pulled the servers down, so I was able to kind of sneak this one in. Otherwise, we would have probably had to wait another 2 weeks or so before the servers are back up, or maybe a week if we're lucky, depending on how fast they're working. But yeah, once again, I hope you guys enjoy. I enjoyed putting the video together. I do like the format of this a little bit more. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys really enjoyed this format, being, you know, we go over the Confessor, mobility, and harvesting if we need to craft the weapon. You get to kind of see how the weapon is crafted. And then after that, we go over the skills. I'm sorry, the abilities, not the skills. The abilities and the ability tray, and you know what the combos look like, and demonstrating that, and how you could kind of chain them, or how you would actually play. You can think about that. And then afterwards, we come in and we take a look at the skill tree, and I briefly go over, you know, what out of all of these, what universal skill would suit the combat style of that archetype. And then you look at, you know, the specific archetype skill tree. And then you can look at, you know, I just go over all the skills so that you can kind of theory craft for yourself. If I were to play the Confessor, I would be min-maxing with a Book of Sin basically, and I would just do a high crit build, which is pretty common. Yeah, I think, you know, typical glass cannon type build, it's a kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of a probably going to be a very easy, you know, low, seems like a low risk type of class to play at the moment. So yep, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is a little bit shorter. If you guys are interested in more videos, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and cover the crafting skills tomorrow. That'll be 8:30 or 9 o'clock Central start time, and that one's gonna be a relatively short one as well. So enjoy the bonus video I did for you guys tonight, and yeah, have a good night. Peace out, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.